seeing all that money sitting, that job was horrendous. Like, it was just anxiety on 100. I was earning the most money my little itty bitty hands had ever earned. So I was earning. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Jo. I am back with another one of these sit down videos. I know I've done a couple of vlogs that spiced it up for you, but I thought I'd actually come back and do something a bit more meaningful, or perhaps a bit more pertinent to the times that we're in at the moment. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about unemployment, job hunting, and basically giving you some tips as to how you can perhaps improve your job search and have a better rate of success. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, get yourself a seat, make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. I'm going to begin with a little bit of story time of my employment history. Well, not just the history, but like my background. So I went to the University of Nottingham and I studied international relations and global issues. I did an MSci, which is a 4-year course that meant I graduated with a master's at the end of 4 years. As part of my course, I spent 1 year abroad, and I did my Erasmus in my second year at the University of Vienna in Austria. I will tell you a little bit more about that experience in another video, but let's just say Vienna ain't it. I graduated in 2012, but before I graduated, I had the opportunity to do another master's, so a double degree, with a partner university called the University of Constance in Germany, and that was in politics and public administration. As you can tell, there's a trend here. I thought I was going to be the next Kofi Annan. Well, I was really about that. I was in love with international relations. I did learn German. I spoke German. I had a job as a waitress while I was in Germany. I went to church in German. In church in Germany where they spoke German. And also, obviously, the language in Austria is also German. So I was really, really good at German at the time. And prior to that, actually, in my childhood, I lived in Togo as well. So at some point in my life, not anymore, I was fluent in French. So I had French, I had German, I had 2 masters, I had studied abroad in 2 countries. What else did I have in a bag? Nottingham is a good uni, hello. And I was just like, right, okay, so I've done all the things that they say you should do. You know, you should study abroad, you should do work experience, you should learn a language. And in my mind, I kind of felt like these were the formula. You know, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then you get a job, you're successful, Bob's your uncle, Linda is your aunt kind of lifestyle. So initially I started off applying for roles in my field. I was applying for internships at different UN agencies. I was applying for NATO. NATO was actually my dream. I was really interested in war and peacekeeping, and I applied for different programs. I wasn't getting these jobs. I started like expanding my scope. So I was like, okay, fine, let me look for political consultancies. Let me apply to similar agencies or think tanks. It was just L after L after L after L after L after L after L. I was like, okay, no worries, it's all right, it's all right. Then I started applying for like management consultancies because I knew someone who works for Accenture, and at the time it seemed like, listen, this is the place to be at. Applied to Accenture, KPMG, EY. And the thing is, I sucked at psychometric testing. I was all right with the English one and the logical reasoning, but maths, So yeah, that was kind of a deal breaker for me. Like, I couldn't really get a lot of those jobs. Anyway, it took me 5 months before I actually landed my first gig in terms of like proper work. Those 5 months were horrendous. They were really, 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 really bad for my mental health. I felt very deflated. I took it personally. I had like a spreadsheet of places that I'd applied to, and rejection after rejection. I was actually getting anxiety. So if I saw an email come in, like my heart would go, I would be so anxious. I quickly scroll to the bottom to see if it's like,
best of luck with the rest of your job search,
or something like that. Even when I was like invited for psychometric testing, then it was like,
oh my god, how
like, it was just anxiety on 100. And I just kept thinking, oh, I don't want to keep, I'm all my friends are working, I'm still getting pocket money from my parents. I felt like I had failed. I had failed in life, cancelled, it's over, go home. All of your masters, now what? All of your study abroad, learning language. I could have just been having fun in my summers. What? My first job was case handling. So I worked for a company that was doing PPI redress, and that job was horrendous. Like, it was so bad that when people were getting sacked, because it was basically like a call center, when people were getting sacked, as they were walking you off the premises, because we were like this massive like open plan space, the whole room would be cheering. The whole room would be clapping and cheering, like, yeah, you're free. And as time went on, I got another job, then I got another job, and these things, the good times started rolling. Like, I was like, okay, shmoney. And then fast forward to 2018. At this point in my career, I was contracting, and I was earning the most money my little itty bitty hands had ever earned. So I was earning 5 figures a month, and obviously with the nature of contracting, they're paying you in gross, you do your own taxes and all of that stuff. But I was just like, wow, just seeing all that money sitting, I was chilling. So between 2014 to 18, I'd never had gaps in my career. I had always started a job the very next day after one ended. Like, I always had things lined up, and things kind of just fell into my lap, and they were coming to me naturally, all by the grace of God. And then all of a sudden, the project that I was working on, it just got cut off, and I was like, so my contract didn't get renewed, and I was just like, okay, well, don't worry, these things come easily, hana, kata. So initially, I was just like, okay, you know what, that's all right, I'm gonna do me. I can have some time off. I've never really had a break in my career. I'm gonna go on this holiday, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get to the gym, I'm gonna eat, pray, love. Yes, that's how May turned to June, turned to July, turned to August, turned to September. I went away for a wedding, came back, and that's when it hit me. I was like, there's only 3 months left of the year, and typically you don't hire contractors towards the end of the year, because you're going to go on a break, there's going to be Christmas holidays, there's no need for contracting. So September, I started to get a bit itchy. October, November, and then I started turning my prayer into, Lord, you can do for me before the end of the year. I decree it, I declare it, yes. December came, zero, no job. But all the time I kept thinking, but it's fine, you've been through like worse, and you've got experience. Back in 2013, 14, when you were out of uni, you didn't have anything under your belt. Now you've got about 4 years worth of work experience. You can do this, you can do that, and you've got money in the bank. But mind you, the money started to dwindle. Fast forward to January, I finally secured a new role, another contract role, and again, everything's been dandy. So I did that role, that ended, I got another role, and now I'm in permanent employment with an amazing company, and that is the long and short of my career history. So that is the backstory, and this is leading me up to all the points I'm about to start sharing. Number one tip is, it's a no-brainer, but you'll be surprised. You actually need to update your CV. Update your CV. We'll be surprised at how much you've accomplished in like the last year or however long you've been in your last role. It's always good to like update your CV, add keywords, and tailor it. And if you can, ask someone if they'd be willing to share their CV with you, someone that obviously that you trust and trusts you and whatnot. But updating your CV is actually quite key, because that is the first thing that people see. Make sure that it is actually selling you. I know that especially with British culture, you're taught not to toot your own horn, and being a woman, a lot of the times we downplay our accomplishments or our achievements, and we think, yeah, well, I kind of did that, but no. It's no time to be humble. It's no time to be like airy-fairy. I did this. I led. I directed. I was responsible for. It needs to be I, and less we. Because even if you had like a very minor role in something, obviously you're not going to lie about it, but as much as possible you want to bring out any little thing, even if you're just carrying newspaper or carrying jugs of water. Yeah, I was the best jug carrier there. My newspapers deliveries was on point. I was newspaper delivery person of the year, blah blah blah. Toot your own horn as much as possible, because that, once people see that and they're like, oh, do you know what, I'm interested, I want to hear more about this person. But if it's just, oh yeah, I kind of did this, and then, you know, I was in that team and I kind of almost sort of next. Number 2 is use all the channels available to you. LinkedIn, recruiters, obviously job boards if you're just fresh out of uni, grad schemes, but don't think that that is the only way into employment. If you are younger and you're coming out of uni, grad schemes are not necessarily the only way. In fact, only a small proportion of the population go through grad schemes. A lot of them just apply directly to companies or do a little bit of, you know, work here and there, and then they rise through the ranks. I had this mentality, again, it comes back to my idea of there being rules. I thought, okay, you go to uni, you get a grad scheme, you do this, you rotate, you blah, blah, blah. But it's not like that. All my roles have been through recruiters headhunting. So I put my CV on things like Total Jobs, eFinancial Careers, City Jobs, make it visible and so that people can contact you. Basically, all channels available to you, maximize them. Ask friends if there's things going on at their workplaces. You never know what is actually going to work, so you want to spread your CV as much as possible to get someone to get in touch with you. Another thing with that is, if you're one of these people who, oh, I don't know your number, so I'm not picking up your phone, stop that now. If recruiters are going to get in touch with you, sometimes they'll call you off private number, sometimes they'll call you off random landlines that you don't have saved. You need to be open to accepting these calls. I know some people say, oh, I don't take calls from unknown numbers. If you are just shooting yourself in the foot, my dear, do you have all the recruiter's number in your phone? No. So change that mindset. Number 3, also on the point of like recruiters and stuff, don't disclose your day rate, don't disclose your salary. I have been very guilty of this, because sometimes I feel like, oh, if I don't tell them, I'm not going to get the job, or they're not going to shortlist me. It's a lie. It's many, many lies even. Don't disclose your day rate. When you state your day rate and you say, I only want roles in this, depending on how long you're out of work for, you might change your mind. And there might be other roles that, you know what, that you are interested in doing just to tide you over. When my contract first ended, I was just like, I ain't doing that. Excuse me, do you know what I was on? Do you know what my day rate was? No, sorry, not doing that. No. Okay. By the end of 2018, fam, I would have taken jobs that will pay me half or a fraction of what I was earning before, just because I needed some income. But because I'd already told all these recruiters, oh no, I only want this much money, so they basically were not sending me anything below that, which is obviously the logic behind it. But unless I was going to start calling everyone back and be like, oh, by the way, yeah, you know what I said about that day rate? Yeah, I'll take half. You can't do that. So that's another reason for not disclosing your day rate. And when you're permanent, give them a range. So like, oh, I am in the 50s, or I am in the 60s, or I am in the 70s, or whatever. Don't say, I earn £53,000. Stop. And when people ask you point blank period, just say, I'd rather not disclose that at this moment. I'd rather see what the job spec is. I'd rather understand the level of responsibility, or the level of commitment, or the level of work that I'm going to have to do, and make my judgments based on that. I like to keep myself flexible on day rates. I like to keep myself flexible on salaries, because I might be interested in taking a pay cut depending on the role if I really like it. Shall I say something? Just don't say the rate or the salary. And also, with contracting, you can lie about your day rate. And I guess to an extent, you can lie about your salary with perm. However, with perm, you're going to give them your is it P45 or P60? Shout out 1P number from your last workplace. And then they will know what you've been paid. So my dears, don't go saying, oh yeah, no, I was earning 70k when really you were earning 50. Because, and I don't know anyone that's this happened to personally, but I've read that people have then actually had their job offers rescinded because they've been found out lying. So obviously people are going to inflate a little bit. So if maybe you're earning 50, you might say, oh yeah, no, I was earning about 53 or 54. They kind of expect that little cheekiness. However, if you were earning 50 and say, oh no,
I was earning 70k, fam.
just watch out. The next point is to follow applications with calls. Now, this is something that I actually learned in when I was job hunting the first time around. What I would do is I would apply to a role, and on some job boards like City Jobs or I think eFinancial Careers, it actually has the name of the person who listed the role, and then I would ring them and speak to them and be like, oh, hi James, hi Lola, my name's Josephine. I've just sent through a job application. I wanted to know a little bit more about the role and get them to talk to you, because then when you establish that like mini rapport, when they get your CV, they'll remember, okay, yeah, this is Joe's CV. Even sometimes they go sifting through their applications while you're on the phone, and they're like, oh, okay, hang on a second, let me just check. Oh yeah, I can see that you did this. Okay, cool. And then in a way that kind of helps fast track things, because otherwise you send your application in, it's in a pile of emails, they'll get to it when they get to it. All they're doing is, yeah, no, maybe, and then that's it. But if you've called them in advance, or just before you send it, oh hi, my name's Joe, I just want to understand a little bit more about this role. I see, is it still available? Have you had a lot of applications? Can you tell me about this? Right, I was just about to apply and I thought I would ask you these questions. And then you hit send, and then at least you have someone, a point of contact that you can refer to and that you can follow up with. Sometimes they'll send you their emails directly. Obviously, if you're applying to a whole company, it's a little bit more tricky. You just have to do a bit more work and you will find the person. My final point for this video is be flexible. I kind of touched on it before when I was talking about like rates and stuff. But when I first was looking for work out of uni, I was like, do you know who I am? Do you know what I've 2 masters? Oh, I have 2 masters. I've studied abroad. I've studied abroad again. I have do this. I have do that. And these times I'm just 23 with next to no work experience. And my chest was like this. Yeah. Do you know who I am? Yeah, no. I'm not taking anything less than 35k. Excuse me? And it's not unheard of, because one of my friends, his first job out of uni was 47k. So I also had that in the back of my mind, like, excuse me, so and so can do it, so can I. And that's actually a very good attitude to have. But at the same time, be flexible. Be flexible in terms of your rate. Be flexible in terms of potentially your position. Be flexible in terms of your industry as well. All of these things I learnt the first time around. Sometimes you might feel like, oh, but I should be director, I should be AVP, I should be manager, I should be this. And you might find that when you move into other roles, for whatever reason, whether it's just because it's more of a learning curve or based on the benchmark of experience of other people in that same role, you might not meet their criteria or whatever. I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. What I would do instead is actually just be like, you know what, fine. I want to come in at VP level, but you want to make me AVP, fine. I will negotiate with you that I'll come into this role as AVP for the year, and then I want to promote it to VP. I'm gonna show you that I can do it. And if possible, have that somewhere that you can refer to and say, these are my objectives for the year as soon as I come in, and I'm going to prove to you that I am this level. And then at least you know that, okay, for the first 12 months, I've got something to prove, I've got objectives to hit, and then obviously when you get promoted, you get more of a salary, blah, 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 and all that stuff gets added on. In terms of permanent employment, be a bit flexible on salary. So I went from contracting back into permanent, and I can't lie, initially I was like, the drop is steep. It's like, pew! But that being said, I am not earning a rubbish salary, even now as permanent. And you just kind of have to change your mindset and think, okay, what do I actually need? So yes, all that money was sitting in my account as a contractor and it's brilliant, but for the most part, if I earn this much as a permanent employee, this is comfortable. I will be okay, I will be happy, I will be satisfied. Great. Being a permanent employee obviously comes with added benefits of like healthcare, sick leave, annual leave, maternity leave, all that good stuff that you don't get when you're contracting. But this isn't really a contracting versus permanent staff video. It's more just to say that some tips for both industries or for both types of employment. So I hope this has been both entertaining and useful. I'm sure there's a gazillion other tricks and tips out there. Obviously, please do let me know other things. We're all here to learn and to share. If there's stuff that I've missed out or stuff that has worked for you, I could also use those tips as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, as you should. If you thought it was rubbish, just share it with your friends and have a laugh. Subscribe to my channel. I am dedicated to putting out content more regularly. I'm sure you've heard this from all your favorite YouTubers. Now you're hearing it from me. Follow me on social media. I'm at JMOTG on all my socials. Let's connect. Let's keep the conversation going. And so until next time, take care, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!